So as anime only, such as myself and to many of you as well, welcome everyone to the village arc of Dr. Stone. How's it going though, ladies and gentlemen? It is Flam. Welcome everyone back to another Dr. Stone review. Today, guys, I'm going to be talking about episode 7, where 2 million years have gone. And I would say this is definitely a huge development within Dr. Stone, because we see basically all of our main cast, from the cover art to the opening, all these other, human beings that we've seen so far, we're wondering where they were, and now we get introduced to them here. So let's talk about, I would say, the start of this episode here first, because I feel like it is just a little bit important. So if you guys didn't see the last part of Dr. Stone, basically the ending instead of the visuals or the ending that you get in some anime, including this one right here, it was actually taken over, and it was Senku actually helping up Kohoko that was stuck under a tree during her fight with Tsukasa, and Senku basically just helping her out, and she expresses her gratitude towards him for saving her life. But we all know at this point that Senku really needs manpower. He can't build this war of science all alone, especially with just him, Taiju, and of course Yuzu, because we know Tsukasa as a character, this guy is seriously OP, and he knows the miracle fluid right now, that of course if he uses it and revives other people, he could basically become this god of the stone world. So they had to defeat him quick, but they need their manpower first, their first objective. So Kohoko goes on with it. She's like, yeah, this guy is a terrible human being, especially one holding Yuzu captive. She was the one that saw everything, especially she saw it as well that Senku actually died at that moment, but he didn't. But she actually goes along with Senku's plan, so she takes him to his village, which is a really cool thing, because we all know, well, I guess you can kind of predict it, right? Like, we know that Senku wasn't the only human being alive in this world. Going to real life purposes, there's 7 billion people in this world, and this is just in Japan area, right? This is only like available in that area. There's still all over the place. There's Russia, there's US, there's Canada, etc. like that. So that there's going to be other people out here. It wasn't just Senku or Tsukasa, Taiju, or Yuzu all alive. There's going to be other human beings. But kind of before that, we get a little bit of a sad, kind of twist, and also kind of a little bit of an objective wise, is that Kohoko's getting this kind of miracle water, or I guess you could say that she's bringing it to her older sister, because her older sister right now has an illness, which I'll explain more throughout this review. It's kind of towards the ending we get a little bit of that, but she grabs this huge pot that's not enough, just for her sister herself. So she's wasting all of her energy day by day, going so far throughout her village just to get this huge pot of water delivered to her sister, which kind of makes it to us audience fans that Kohoko is definitely someone great so far. Definitely a person that doesn't want to express her emotions. You can kind of see, like, out of her outside face, she tries to be a strong girl, but in the inside, she's really carefree. That's kind of the vibe that you get from Kohoko, and Senku even sees that within herself as well, where she tries to help. But knowing Senku in this world, you could say he is the weakest, but you could definitely say he has the smarts. Like, he's definitely the smartest person. But it's a little bit of a funny moment in Dr. Stone, which everyone basically says, Senku's point of view, that everyone's a gorilla, that they're just OP, they're strong, and they could do anything except for himself right there. But instead of Senku or Kohoko carrying the miracle water, you could per se, he builds a car already, or I guess you could say a wagon, for them to kind of travel more to this village, because it is quite a bit away from where they are at right now. So bam, there kind of goes technology a little bit further within Dr. Stone, which was cool to see. But afterwards, when it was all destroyed and everything like that, they finally arrive in this village, and like I said, this village changes Dr. Stone so much that we thought there were probably just a couple people in this world, in the stone world that we know of now. There's actually quite a bit. There's a village right here that we see. Out of 40 people, I do believe that Kohoko said, kind of her statement of Senku right here, that if he builds the trust within these people, these 40 people could help Senku bring humanity back alive and all well. So he looks at it as winning advantage. He looks towards it of not failure, that he actually has hope of defeating Tsukasa and bringing humanity back to life. But he gets stopped by these two individuals that are guarding the village from outside strangers. I believe their names were Kinro and Gingro, if I am saying it correctly. I don't know if I am yet. I have to watch more of this anime or watch more of this episode. But they are the protectors of this village, which is kind of like reasonable. If you have only 40 people in the village, you never know if there's outside people out there, or there's dangerous animals, or etc. like that, that of course you're going to have people protecting no matter what. right, or if there's shifts, maybe it's just not them two, maybe there's other people, you know, there's 40 people in this village, maybe there could be 2 more members, there could be another member. We do see them in this episode here that they've stopped, of course, Senku from crossing this point of going to the village because they don't know his individual or his character yet, which you can't really blame them as well. You know, you can't just really trust outside people, especially Senku from a different generation. And this is what I mean by a different generation, and it's a little bit of a funny moment as well within Dr. Stone, is that we've known from news, especially for Kohoku's character, that they were born in this stone world. They weren't part of the 3,000 years or our generation per se, where Senku, Taiju, Tsukasa, and Yuzu are from. You know, it's building the ground up here again. They're literally stone people, and humanity slowly growing back to what our period is now. And the proper way to test that is Senku literally just takes a soap that he uses on the water and just blows bubbles, and they're freaking out of what is this mad science, what is going on. So you could definitely tell that. You could say they're not, well, I guess you could say they're idiots, but it's also a really funny moment as well, is that that's just where humanity or where their point or their generation is at the moment. So you can definitely tell that Senku can kind of, I wouldn't really say control is the right word, but he could definitely bring a lot of popularity and a lot of trust and a lot of different elements to this village. So of course he has to show that to the guards right here before he goes inside the village. But we get introduced to another character in this series, which is called Google Chrome. His name's not Google Chrome, his name's Chrome. I'm just put Google in it because I thought it was funny. But we get introduced into Chrome. And Chrome, well, when you look at his character, like, I don't know, it's me just per se, but he does look like Taiju. I'm like, wait, is this just a little sibling of Taiju right here? But no, he's actually, I would say, the scientist of this generation. This is huge for Dr. Stone when you look at it, because when we look at Senku and to others, you would think that Senku is the only person that knows about science and someone to actually know how to restore civilization, because he does have the memory of 3,000 plus years, have the memory throughout generations and generations, so he could actually teach that to Chrome right here. He's just like a beginning scientist kind of growing up and evolving right here, like someone to make fire really easy, someone to, you know, even color change the fire from, you know, crystals and dust and etc. like that, which, you know, is a little bit of improvement, because, you know, a lot of people don't really see that, like Kohoko and the guards right here, when they were all amazed by this. But, you know, Senku just thinks that this is child's play, this is just a kid's science fair. But he does see potential within Chrome that he could actually be his sidekick. Kind of the vibe I got from Dr. Stone was that Senku was basically the Batman and then Chrome was the Robin. So working together to bring something incredible and then to actually restore the generation up quicker is something amazing. And you can even see throughout Chrome in this episode as well, is that he has made stuff in his little shack right here, his little science shack, actually makes human generation grow even quicker. Like we even see, of course, soap or, you know, gunpowder or etc. like that. We've seen throughout Dr. Stone right now that went through millions or even thousands of generations, that even Senku has said right now that is, of course, invented by this person or this person in the past. And Chrome actually succeeded at that. He has made stuff like Senku for, you know, human generation to even grow quicker and quicker to be where our point is at right now. So Chrome is definitely someone that you don't look towards of, is he an idiot or not? He is someone to actually have that huge potential within himself. And also another thing as well that I love that Senku brought up, just like what he says to Tsukasa, is that, you know, when Tsukasa was about to kill Senku right here, that of course he knows science and he wants to bring back humanity, etc. like that, even though you kill Senku and you get him out of the stone world, there's always someone to follow your other path. And what he means by that is if Senku would have died, you know, a couple episodes back, you know, Chrome would have been the one to be the scientist. You know, he's right behind Senku's marks, and it's kind of like our generation right now. If you have this great football or soccer player or esports player, whatever you want to per se, there's always someone coming right behind you. It might take 5, 10, 100 years, example like that, but there's always someone or someone great to follow that generation and for it to make it go on and go forward throughout millennia. And you can tell that Chrome is that other person. So I find that very cool of what Dr. Stone has to add right there. And you can definitely tell that Senku, you know, even gets that trust with Chrome, telling him the secrets of how our generation were, like telling them that there was a stone world like this before and eventually evolved and evolved and evolved, and it got to a point where technology was incredible. There's airplanes, there's vehicles like cars and trucks trucks, huge buildings, towers, iPhones, iPods, schools, etc. like that. And Chrome is amazed but also sad about that fact that, humanity is kind of restarting again, but he's also terrified and mad that, our generation or our successors just fell in a snap of a finger. So we have to bring it back, and that gives him as an ambition that he wants to join this war of science with Senku to restore humanity. So there we are right there, which is a really cool moment, and I'm definitely going to love Chrome's character throughout Dr. Stone. I cannot wait to see what this Batman and Robin have in store for us. I guess one more thing I could bring up as well, what we have seen in this episode is Kohoko's older sister, which is actually the leader of this village, the leader of 40 people, and I don't really see, I guess, her benefits so far. Maybe we'll see her powers in next episode, or kind of her leadership, you could per se. But she has a huge illness right now, and this is kind of a terrible illness when you look at it, because it's a stone world, right? It's not like our generation right now, where if you're sick and eventually if it gets worse and worse, you can go see a doctor about it, you can get medication at a store, etc. like that, but it's not available in the stone world. So it's very hard to predict what her condition is at right now, because looking at Senku, he's just a scientist, right? He's not a doctor. He doesn't know the huge problems in and outs, but he could actually try to make the best medicine he can possible, or to find the best antidote with Chrome to help save her sister. And I feel like that's actually the way he's going to get in the village, because even though that he's an outsider and he can't go into it right now, if you restore the leader, if you cure her, you have, I guess, a 50-50 chance. You have a chance of, you make this medicine, if it doesn't work or you're trying, you might get a little support from that. Like, you could see like the generosity maybe the village will give to Senku, that he's just an outsider, why would he help our leader out, but he's still trying to provide the medicine for her. Or if he finds the antidote, of course, with Chrome, which Chrome at this point feels like he could actually trust Senku 100%, they'll able to restore her, and he'll be able to get in his village and tell them all about what humanity was like back then. Because if he basically tells them all about that, it's not just Kohoko that he has to trust with, he has other henchmen beside him now, which could be Kenkro, it could be Genro, Chrome, Kohoko, their leader for crying out loud, and the other, I guess you could say, side characters, what we've seen like so far, of course, within the opening and the cover art of Dr. Stone right now. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 7 of Dr. Stone. I would have to say I'm very excited about this village arc right now. I feel like it might take a couple episodes for the antidote. I don't really see them making it next episode. I think it's going to be the process about it right now, and I think that Kohoko is definitely going to help them out as well, because of course, like, it's Kohoko's older sister, for crying out loud. She's been going up to, I don't know how far this hot spring is, trying to carry this huge ton of water to carry for her sister. So we're probably going to see Kohoko, Chrome, and Senku trying to create an antidote, and it'll probably be like, I would say, the last part of next episode, and eventually I would say the episode before that is when Senku will be allowed in this village, and then he'll actually get the manpower now to actually help him win this war against Tsukasa. And then we can move on to the next step, which of course us anime onlys, we don't really know what that is yet, but it's definitely going to be very exciting. But if you guys all enjoyed my review right here, make sure of course to leave a like, comment down below what are you guys' thoughts and opinions on this episode, and of course subscribe to the channel, that'd be greatly appreciated. But just thank you so much guys for all your love and support on these Dr. Stone reviews so far, and of course we'll see you guys next week for a brand new episode of Dr. Stone.